I think it's a great experiment. I think the reality is you're going to struggle getting the yields required, or at least the yields that you would get if you had 4 or 5 rotations of say 2 hours in length, rather than one rotation of 14 hours in length. So I think it's going to struggle to get the fares necessary, but it's a good experiment and we'll see what happens. I think the legacy carriers are behaving more like low-cost carriers, and the low-cost carriers are behaving a little bit more like legacy carriers, and they're kind of meeting in the middle. So even the sort of sacred cows of the sort of cornerstones of Ryanair's business model, they're moving away from. So if they can reinvent themselves to a certain degree, then I think that really indicates how the market's moving. Well, I think it varies in different parts of the world. It's clearly reached absolute maturity in Europe, whereas in other areas, for instance Africa, where I operate, it's still less than 10% of our traffic, because the likes of broadband is still only available in very rare small parts of Africa. So a lot of work, a lot of growth in second and third tier continents, but obviously here in Europe it's reached its maturity, and we'll continue to innovate to create growth. Well, I think price is no longer the differentiator. I mean, there's a fairly people recognise what they're going to get for their money in terms of the price they're paying. So I think in reality, brands are going to have to carve out more of a brand, set of brand values, and so to really signpost the customers to what they're getting. As I said, Ryanair are trying to reinvent themselves. We'll see how that works. EasyJet have always been slightly higher up the customer service curve. Jet2 pitched themselves a little bit higher than that, and so on and so on. So you're going to get there's a signposting around the brand values that each company represents.